Hey, my name is James Nicholson and welcome to this YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I bought my first property and what I would do today because the market is very, very different at this time. Now, this channel is all about my investment journey, how I'm growing my portfolio, and I want you guys to follow me on the journey. And we're also building a portfolio for my two daughters. We've got Georgia, who's 21. This is her first property. We're up in Doncaster here today, just making sure the final little bit's done before it gets rented out next week. And we're building a portfolio for my little baby Amelie as well. So how can you join us on the journey and find out the good, the bad and the ugly about property investing? Well, you can take that finger of power, smash that subscribe button over there, hit the bell notification because you want to go and see all the content as it happens and learn some stuff along the way. Now, I bought my first property way back in 1999. I was 18 years old at the time and I was working as a manager in a Burger King over in Dorking. Now, that period of time, I remember everybody thought houses were expensive, right? Everyone said house prices are so expensive, the market needs to drop, and that's been the case for decades. People have always thought that. Now, I bought my first property in Dorking, which you can check out actually on the channel. I made a video tour when I just did a refurb on it recently. And we bought that property for £45,000. Now, that property needed a £3,000 deposit, and I didn't have that. And in 1999, to me, £3,000 was a lot of money. I was only working in Burger King, right? And it was more important to me to go out and have a beer on the weekend. So I was fortunate enough that I asked my grandfather to lend me the money for a deposit, which eventually he just gifted to me. Now, you might think that you don't have the money to invest in property, but you can JV with people, right? There'll be people that potentially will lend you money for investments because properties are very, very secure purchase. Now, people I find that are unlikely to lend you money for business or education, but they will lend you money for property because they've seen over the years that it's a very, very sound investment. So we bought that property for £45,000 and the rest, as they say, is history. Now, over the years, that's now gone up in value 5 times now. It's worth £250,000 in Dorking. Now, I see a lot of you watching on this channel thinking, I want to learn about property investing, which is good, and I'm glad that you're here. And if you didn't subscribe earlier, do that now. But your belief is that you can't afford to invest in property because, look, let's be honest, house prices have risen significantly over the last few years. I'm not stupid, you know that. We all know that, right? And so what that means is that if you wanted to invest in London now or in the southeast of England, it's expensive, right? And the prices compared to the salaries are crazy. But what's stopping you investing in other areas? Because I'm not massively investing in the southeast because it doesn't work that well there at the moment. So I live near Gatwick Airport in the southeast. I'm in Doncaster right now. And so this house that I bought here is £60,000. If you bought that on a personal mortgage, you could get into that deal from as little as £4-5 grand if you got a 5% deposit, or more realistically 10% deposit. You get a better rate then. You're looking at £6,000 plus the stamp and the fees. You're going to get into this deal here for around £9,000 if you bought that on a residential mortgage. Now, if you bought it on a buy-to-let mortgage because you want to do it as an investment property, then it's not massively going to be expensive either. So the purchase price is 60. That means the deposit is £15,000. So you'd be in this deal for around 9 to 10,000. About 15 plus 3 or 4 grand. You'd be in this deal for around 20. Now, that's not unrealistic. Now, you might think, I haven't got £20,000, but you could borrow that. And so if I was going to be investing today, I wouldn't be looking in London. I wouldn't be looking in the southeast. There are strategies that work in those areas where you can do rent to rent, But if I was looking and I wanted to own the property, I wanted to have that asset that was mine, I would be looking in the north, the northeast in particular, in Yorkshire. It's very affordable, very easy to get to from London on the train. It's 2 hours if you're from London, or we drive here. It's not that bad. And if you do the work on the property, then it's done. I've only been here like 6 times, and then once it's now back on the market with the estate agent, I won't come here for years, right? And I'll have a little investment that's ticking over and giving me income. It's built some equity up already, and that's what I would be doing in the market. So don't sit there and say you can't afford to buy where you live. Buy somewhere where you can afford. There's tons of places where you can afford. Doncaster, they've got plenty of 50, 60 grand houses. There's other areas around here in Grimsby, for example, where you can buy a 30 grand house. Now, that's somewhere that you can still do up. You don't have to buy on the roughest street there. There's going to be some streets that are okay. You can buy in Liverpool. A lot of people are doing serviced accommodation in the Liverpool area. But it doesn't matter. Wherever you choose to invest, there are tons of opportunities around where you can afford it, and you just need to look that little bit further. And once, what you can do, for example, and this is what the plan is with Georgia here, right? So this property is for Georgia, and she works as a nursery nurse. It's unlikely that she will afford to save up for a deposit to buy a house down south, right? It's just unrealistic. So what we're doing is we're building her a portfolio of property in the north. These house prices will go up, not as fast as the south, but in 10 years, this house might be worth £90,000, or if we're lucky, it's doubled and it's worth 120, right? Then she will have a huge amount of equity in there that she can pull out. In fact, this deal, we've already got equity in it because we've refurbed it, so it's valued at 100. So that's the buy, refurbish, refinance. But I'm talking about if we bought it for 60 and we did nothing, right? Maybe we bought one for 60 that didn't need any work. But you can add value and add equity to a property by doing additional works and services and stuff like that. So that's how I bought my house, was just borrowing money from somebody else. That's a consideration for you. If you can't afford to buy where you live, buy somewhere else. Don't necessarily live there, rent it out, build some equity in it, then you can use that equity to buy down south. I hope that makes sense, right? I hope that makes sense. So this house here, we bought it for 60,000, 15 to do it all up and get it back on the market. It's valued at 100. So we've now already created, in just 8 weeks, £25,000 in equity. We've got all our money back, so we can do that again. And if we did that 4 times, we'd have £100,000 in equity, which at some point we could pull out to buy our flat down south. That's how you leverage money and use it in an effective way. Hope that makes sense. Hope you've got some questions that you want to ask me in the chat. If you want to join our Facebook group, it's free. Come and say hi. I'll put a link to that in the description. Like the video, subscribe, and go and check out this video right here. I'm James Nicholson. Thanks for watching my channel, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Bye for now.